Hello everyone and welcome to the last official episode of La-Mulana. Man, it's been a trial. I can't believe it's almost over with. We still got one last dungeon to do and one last puzzle to accomplish though, so we gotta take the walk all the way there. We can't just warp there. The game wants you to realize how daunting this is. Welcome to True Shrine of the Mother. This is what happens after you beat all the bosses. This area turns into a complete monstrosity of a level. Now, in this segment, you could go left or right, but I wanted to demonstrate that those red vines are the ladders of the level. And I probably should have gone left, because we'll see that later in the episode. Aside from different platforms, though, this level isn't too much different. Enemies are still the same, layouts are still the same, room setups are still the same. We just have a bunch of new environmental effects that could damage us, which is actually kind of irritating now that I think about it. It's very hard to go through this area without taking damage. Now, if you missed it, a block just appeared, impeding a path to an area in the level, which is unfortunate, but that puzzle will be solved easily enough. Just putting Yagoo map reader on to check something. I'm also demonstrating that I have all items and software at this point in the game. Apparently I missed a tablet. Oh well. If I remember right, that tablet just tells you how to get access to one of the mid-bosses in Dimensional Corridor. Now, if you remember this dude from before, he's aggressive now. This is Beelzebub, the I believe he's a Lord of Hell or something. I'm not too keen on his. Oh no, he's the Lord of Flies. I'm an idiot. Now, Beelzebub has two phases. He does this swooping and shoot animation, which is all he does, and the whip is not all too hot for this guy. You want the axe. And even if you have the axe, it's still a bit of a chore to get him. I could use the Lamp of Time to completely skip this phase, but I personally find the second phase to be a bit harder. Not much to say about this guy, really. He just kind of does his thing. His second phase is when he becomes an actual fly. And here, I believe he could pierce your shields, and he does a bunch of other things that I don't recall offhand, one of which is he generates a fly shield, which makes it hard to approach him, so I just kind of, you know, Lamp of Time him, and then I'm done. And I get a full heal from him. Sweet. Those scriptures help a lot with getting a level up for free healing. Also, if you notice, our Holy Grail seems to be a bit different. As a tablet in what's it called, Dimensional Corridor mentions, you need 2 cups in order to awaken the Mother. We just got our second cup. Because Mulbrook also mentions that when you get all the areas in this game, the Holy Grail fills with a mysterious power, and that's necessary to unlock the final boss. Now this room is a bit devious because it seems like there's no possible way to progress, right? Well, there's also no Wrath of God eyes around here, so you could just beat up the thing that's blocking your way. Now there's a fairy door here, and there's one clue that we have not, like, exploited at all. And it could only work until you see that block. Yep, the Fairy Queen finally gets some use. Hope you memorize this path because you're gonna be walking it a lot. Like, it may seem like I know what I'm doing in the boss fight up ahead, but if this is your first time playing La-Mulana, you're gonna have a tough time memorizing the boss patterns, and you're gonna be walking this path a lot. And those little red wavy tentacle things are gonna be really infuriating, especially on hard mode when they do 30 damage each, like, hit. Hell, they do 20 to me on normal. What is this? If you're wondering why I'm messing around with that ladder, I thought I had to use the ladder, but here's something weird. There's no nothing here. And at this point I was like, oh god, did I forget something? What did I do wrong? And I actually did do something wrong, and I had to check to realize what. That room at the beginning of the level where we had the chance to go left or right, I should have gone left first. You'll see why in a minute. Out of all the puzzles I don't remember what to do, this was the one I completely forgot about. Go figure. Welcome back to Shrine of the Mother. Now in the left room, there's only one room, but there's also that pedestal from a long time ago when we got the crystal skull that we completely forgot about. Whoops. That unlocks the thing, which is obviously the boss room. Now we gotta do this path one last time. The timing is always weird because those fire-breathing beasts always give you a pain in the butt. And then there's those red tentacles. If there's one thing I hate about this level, it's those red tentacles. They are the worst. And now, everything should be unlocked, so this being the final episode, I'm gonna, I'm just gonna hang back, be quiet, and let you fully bask in the greatness of the final boss. And if you don't know what the key is, as mentioned before, the final key lies in your hand. The Keyblade is the key to unlocking and defeating Mother. So enjoy! What? What the hell's going on? This is not normal. I mean, I'm okay with it. It allows me to beat the crap out of Mom, but... Oh, fuck. No! No! Maybe I just gotta wait. Maybe if I, hit the ground, it'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine soon, right? It's not fine. No! Fuck! I don't know why that glitch appeared, but it happened. And there's only one thing to do since we can't Holy Grail out either. Man. Now for, the actual explanation of stuff. This phase isn't too bad, it's actually a fake-out phase. The thing about this phase, though, is if you don't have the right medicine of the mind, or all of the Holy Grail tablets to power up the Holy Grail, you get warped out. And then you get warped out, you get set in front of Zelpud's, tent, and he laughs at you for not getting a puzzle right. It sucks. Now for the first two phases of the final boss, I like to use the axe because you need a lot of vertical clearance. And it also doesn't help that this phase is probably the most annoying because their giant tail just hits you all the time. This phase is probably the hardest phase because there's just so much shit happening that's hard to dodge. As you saw in the first run, you could block the fire tears before they come down with your shield. You could use your whip here, but the axe has a lot more clearance, so it makes the fight much easier. That baby isn't decoration. Dead baby shoots you with a laser. You could dodge the laser, but it's really tough. There's also one move that I don't get to show off here, and she just shoots a bunch of swords at you. That's easy to dodge, but it's still, really, intimidating. This phase is relatively simple. The only gimmick is that you're using swim physics, so it's a lot harder to control, and the boss could just, decide to fuck off. Typically you want to use either katana, whip, bombs, or the spear here, but the spear seems to be a liability since the tentacles block it. Chakram's also good. I think Chakram doesn't pierce the tentacles either. Now for the true final phase of the final boss for the final dungeon final. She is relatively different in this regard. Initially, she's just, very passive, uses her original AI when she was in big mode. But for each damage threshold she takes, she gets an attack from each boss in the game. For Amphibinasia, she gets the flamethrower. For Sakit, she gets laser balls. For Elmac, she gets exploding laser balls. Each attack has a different tell based on where she's positioned. For Bahamut, she gets the water breath that Bahamut has. And about this point in the game is when things get irritating, because then she loves to linger on the top of the arena. Vi, she gets the giant laser that Vi has. And that's going to be one of your prime opportunities to attack, because that's when she stays still the longest. Flares would be really helpful here, but I didn't go and buy any. Whoops. For Palenque, she just gets the bullet, sprinkler system. That one's not really intimidating. You could attack the bullets or block them with your shield. It's not hard. Baphomet gives you the most irritating attack. She gets floor pillars that often block your path, so while those are going, you could also get trapped by bullets. And oftentimes she will chain this with Vi's attack, which makes it really hard to juke. And finally, with Tiamat, she gets the bullet flower that Tiamat had. That's the attack. The problem is, this is an endurance trial. Even with all this stuff, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. Most people like to get the auto-revive software combo here, but I'm not that much of a chump. And the milieu of La-Mulana is that you'll never know when a boss is near to defeat. But there is one sign here. Once that appears in the background, you know that you're almost done with the boss fight. You just gotta clutch it out for a little longer. And that's it. Final boss is beaten. And with her last breath, she gives us one final item. The secret treasure of life. Held conveniently in the Holy Grail. But we're not quite done with the game yet. Wouldn't be a Metroidvania without a timed escape sequence. Let's go! The hardest part about the escape sequence is going to be two things: getting out of the Shrine of the Mother, and figuring out the absolute final puzzle of the game. Because believe it or not, there's one more puzzle. And the Holy Grail is broken, so you can't just warp out either. But yeah, at this point we have all items in the game, and you get an achievement for that. Pretty great. Now if you remember right, the main entrance to True Shrine takes a while, but somebody left a rope here. Huh, who could have done that? That's weird. Now notice that this entire shrine is crumbling, and as mentioned in the Mantras puzzle, the dungeons tend to loop on themselves, so you can go through the entirety of this level, or you could just, jump through here. Bam. As the dungeons crumble, there are 3 new areas that open up. I missed one. You could go all the way to Twin Labyrinths and get 1 coin chest. And if you want to get a certain achievement, you need to get that coin chest in order to get it. Because that coin chest doesn't appear until the ruin starts crumbling and everything goes wrong. By the way, we want to escape La-Mulana, right? That means we gotta go through the Gate of Guidance and through the main exit. So if we want to go through there, we gotta go. It would be best to go through Spring in the Sky first, through the secret pie. And I think we're almost done. The game's almost entirely over. Seeing all the shrines fall into destruction is really kind of depressing, but I can't help but feel I forgot something. Something really important. There was one last clue that just kind of sits in the back of my mind and just leaves me unsettled. Yep, the main exit and entrance of La-Mulana is blocked during the crumbling. And if you didn't talk to Moldbrook, you won't know that you have to go to her to escape. She also has one more direct clue for that where she says, "This place is starting to fall up. When this place starts to fall apart, I'm getting the hell out of here." And I don't know what causes her to say that outright. But yeah, those are the clues that state when all is said and done, go to Moldbrook to escape the dungeon. Now you're probably thinking, why would you go through Spring in the Sky? Wouldn't it still be easier to go through Mausoleum of Giants? Well, not really. The elevator sequence and going all the way back up from Mausoleum of Giants is a lot longer than coming down from Spring in the Sky. And one last segment to go through. And that's it. Once that timer stops, you've beaten La-Mulana. Good job, team. We did it. We get to see more Moldbrook sprites. She actually has animations, go figure. Now, as the credits go on, we'll see characters appear. These first set of characters, before the first, crescendo into music, these always appear in credits. Zelpud, a couple villagers, the pot lady, and the heel fairy. You'll always get these in the credit sequence. This is your reward for beating the game. This is your reward for destroying historical artifacts and ruining, anthropology as a whole. Now, these characters appear if you do certain milestones in the game. I believe Fairy Queen appears if you get the fairy armor. Skeleton Merchant appears if you get all the software. The Philosophers appear if you do the whip puzzle, all the orbs, all the software. Argus appears if you beat the game in 20 hours. The Blue Fairy appears if you beat the game in 10 hours. If you beat the game and do all the secret fairy stuff, you get the Key Fairy. I believe Sub-Weapon Fairy, I can't remember what. Item Find Fairy, you need to get all the coin chests in the game. You could get modified sprites of Zelpud and Moldbrook if you do Hell Temple. And believe me, you could get every character on the screen. But that implies you gotta beat the entire game 100% within 10 hours alongside beating Hell Temple. I am not doing that. Also, if you didn't notice, Deceased Crab is in the credits of the special thanks team. He was the first person to LP La-Mulana back in 2011, and he gets a lot of thanks from Nagoro as a whole. He's the only non-name in the credits. Everybody else is a real name. Deceased Crab is the only alias there. Now, believe it or not, the story's not done. We still got credit sequence. We got all this, but there's still one inkling thought that has been unaddressed. We're still missing someone. Yep. After all said and done, LeMaze's dad comes and steals all the glory. We've come full circle. And that is the end of La-Mulana. Oh no, wait, that's the end of La-Mulana. Zelpud gets left behind. Aw. Playtime 9 hours, 37 minutes. I took a lot longer than that. Believe me. Typically your first playthrough will run around 20 to 30 hours unless you use a guide. I sped things up because I wanted to get the speedrun achievement. And that's it. The LP's finally done. La-Mulana's over. Don't know if I'm gonna do Hell Temple still. That's like really intimidating. For all these of you that stood by and watched this, thanks. See you next mission.